Chapter 1. The landscape wasn't beautiful as such. It should have been. All the usual elements of beauty were there. Sweeping meadows, flowers bobbing in the gentle breeze, and trees standing watch over them, majestic and peaceful. Even the city down below at the bottom of the hill looked beautiful on this day, with the sunlight glittering on the windows of office blocks. But Callista saw no joy in the view before her. Not today. 1 year. I can't believe it's been 1 year already. Callista's voice was barely audible. She clenched her fists, trying to squeeze the pain away, but however much she squeezed, nothing would bring her parents back. In her hand was the golden necklace her mother had given her as a child. It was beautiful and intricately carved, studded with diamonds in a cross. She turned it over in her hand and tried to picture the day she had received it, but the memories were distant and the day had blurred together with the ones that followed.
The first year is the hardest, but it will get better, I promise. You'll miss them like mad. That part will never go away. But you'll find new ways to deal with it, and you'll find yourself thinking about other things more and your parents less.
Callista looked at Tom, who somehow always knew what to say, and felt a grin spread across her lips. She tucked the necklace back inside her shirt to keep it safe. Good job I've got you here, then. I wouldn't want to do this on my own. Tom gave her a wide smile, and his eyes flashed with genuine warmth.
No problem, he said. Someone has to look after you, don't they?
Callista's smile turned into a frown. I can look after myself, you know. It just meant that it's good having somebody to talk to.
Yeah. It's okay to admit you need a man to help.
A sly smirk played on Tom's face. I don't need a man to look after me. I am more than capable of dealing with whatever comes my way, and you know it. Tom lay back on the grass, arms behind his head, and laughed hard at Callista. She huffed and crossed her arms. He was deliberately aggravating her. She knew that, but it took her mind off the anniversary of her parents' death, and that was precisely what she needed. That was why he did it. Her eyes drifted to the view before them. Pabelle was a small city, and her neighborhood was close-knit and friendly. Many of the residents were people she considered friends. When her parents had passed away, she knew she could have gone to her neighbors for help, but her pride was too strong for that. She had needed to show the world she could cope on her own. Luckily, she didn't have to get a job. That was one weight off her mind. Her live-in nanny and housekeeper, Yvonne, had been with them for years. She stayed around and took care of Callista when Carla and Stanley Nienna died. Mood swings, bad behavior, and skipping school were all frequent issues Yvonne had to contend with. Luckily for Callista, Yvonne had superhuman patience dealing with the recently bereaved teenager. Tom helped her just as much, but Callista would never say that to his face. His rugged, handsome face. Stealing a sneaky glance at Tom, who lay beside her, Callista grinned. It was Friday again. It was always a Friday when they met. Sometimes it was to practice the martial arts they learned together. Sometimes it was just to talk. But it was the highlight of her week, and she wouldn't miss it for the world. It didn't matter what they did. Just being with Tom was enough. After all, he was the only person who didn't think she was crazy when she said her parents were murdered. Carla and Stanley Nienna were not, and never had been, involved in the shady underworld of illegal sorrow dealing. To even suggest they had died in a filthy alley due to drug overdoses was ludicrous to Callista. But no matter how many times she said it, nobody believed her, except Tom. Only Tom agreed it didn't add up. Only Tom listened, actually listened, instead of suggesting she was tired or suffering from delusional grief. It was why she had clung to him at first, and why she had continued to cling to him ever since. The evening was drawing in, the sky just beginning to turn pink as the sun slowly dipped beyond the horizon. It was beautiful. Tom sat up beside her and looked out over the city.
The sky's too red, he muttered, then lay back down again.
What? Callista laughed. Too red? It's beautiful.
Nah, too red, Tom repeated.
Callista aimed a playful punch at his shoulder.
Hey,
he cried out, but his face broke into a smile. They grinned at one another, and Callista felt her cheeks burn. Tom was the first to tear his eyes away. The smile dropped from his lips.
It really is too red, though, don't you think?